Hey everyone, welcome to Talk Skeleton. I'm George Skeleton, your host.
And I'm Nora. And George, can I ask you something personal before we start?
Go ahead.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm a skeleton. I don't go to many parties.
Fair enough, but seriously, because today's topic is something I feel very personally about.
Tell them.
When I was learning English, I was the quietest person in every room, every class, every conversation. I never raised my hand, never volunteered an answer, never spoke unless someone directly asked me.
And people probably assumed, she's struggling, she's not learning, she's falling behind.
Exactly. But here's what nobody knew. Inside, I was absorbing everything. Every word, every correction, every conversation happening around me. I was listening so deeply that I was learning things the loudest people in the room completely missed.
And that quiet, invisible learning, that's what today is about.
How shy people learn English faster.
Now, before anyone thinks, wait, this sounds too good to be true, we're not saying shyness has no challenges. It does. Real ones.
And we're going to talk about those honestly too, but we're also going to talk about something that almost nobody says out loud, the genuine advantages that shy and introverted learners have. Advantages that extroverts, with all their confident, loud talking, simply don't have.
Subscribe to Talk Skeleton before we go further, because this episode, if you've ever felt like your quietness was holding you back, this one is going to change how you see yourself.
Now, George, let's start with something that might surprise people.
Go ahead.
Extroverts speak more. Everyone knows that. They jump into conversations, they practice speaking constantly, they seem fearless.
And most people assume more speaking equals faster learning. More output equals more progress.
But language research tells a different story, a much more interesting story.
Tell them.
Speaking is only one part of language acquisition, and actually not even the most important part.
The most important part is input, what enters you, what your brain absorbs and processes and builds with.
And shy people? Quiet, observing, deeply listening shy people, they are input machines.
While the extrovert is talking, the introvert is listening, really listening to every word, every structure, every nuance.
And that deep listening, that quality of attention that shy people naturally bring, it builds something inside the brain that speaking alone never can.
It builds intuition. That feeling for what sounds right, what sounds natural, what sounds like real English versus textbook English.
And intuition, real language intuition, that's what separates someone who speaks correctly from someone who speaks naturally.
Correctly is learned, naturally is felt, and feeling, that comes from deep listening, the kind shy people do automatically.
Now here's the second advantage, and this one surprised even me when I first understood it.
What is it?
Shy people practice alone, and alone practice, done right, is some of the most powerful English practice that exists.
Because alone, there's no judgment, no audience, no performance pressure, just you and the language.
And in that safe, private space, shy people do things they would never do in public.
They repeat sentences, they try different pronunciations, they talk to themselves, they experiment.
They take risks with language that they'd never take in front of other people.
And those private risks, those quiet experiments in an empty room, they build something real, something that slowly, quietly shows up in public.
The shy learner who seems silent in class, they went home and practiced for 2 hours alone, without anyone watching, without anyone judging.
And that 2 hours of private, brave practice, it matters more than 10 minutes of nervous public speaking.
Now the third advantage, and this one is specifically about grammar, and it's fascinating.
Tell them.
Shy people are afraid of making mistakes in public. We know that. That fear is real, and it causes real problems, which we'll talk about later.
But that same fear, that deep desire to not say something wrong, it makes shy learners pay incredible attention to how language works.
They notice patterns, they catch errors, they remember corrections, because getting it wrong in front of people, for a shy person, that's not just embarrassing, it feels devastating.
So they work extra hard to get it right before they speak, and that extra work, that careful attention to language, it builds a grammar awareness that many confident speakers simply don't have.
Confident speakers make mistakes and move on without noticing. Shy speakers notice every mistake, and slowly they stop making them.
Write in the comments, are you a shy learner? Have you ever felt like your quietness was a disadvantage? Tell us honestly, because we want to talk to you directly today.
Because for too long, the loud, confident extrovert has been held up as the model English learner, the person everyone should try to be.
And quietly, in bedrooms and libraries and empty kitchens all over the world, shy people have been learning English deeply, carefully, beautifully.
Without anyone noticing, without anyone saying what you're doing is working, what you are is enough. So let us say it now. What you are is enough. And in some very important ways, what you are is actually an advantage.
Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get said enough, the relationship between shyness and deep learning.
Deep learning. What do you mean by that exactly?
Most extroverts learn English on the surface. They pick up phrases, they copy what they hear, they get comfortable quickly. And that comfort, it's real, but it's often shallow.
Shallow how?
They can hold a conversation, but they don't always understand why they're saying what they're saying. They learn what works without always learning why it works.
And shy people, because they spend more time observing, more time listening, more time thinking before speaking, they tend to understand the why.
They connect the dots, they notice patterns, they ask themselves, wait, why does this sentence sound right and that one sounds wrong?
And that deep, curious question, it's the engine of real language learning, not just fluency, understanding.
And understanding, real understanding, that's what stays. Long after the confidence fades, long after the comfortable phrases stop working in a new situation.
The shy learner who understood why, they can adapt. They can create new sentences, new responses, new language.
Because they didn't just learn English, they understood it.
Now let's talk about something very honest, because we promised to be honest today.
The twist.
Yes, the twist. Because shyness has real advantages, we've established that, but it also has one enemy, one thing that can take all those advantages and quietly destroy them.
Overthinking.
Overthinking. The shy learner's biggest shadow, always there, always ready to turn a strength into a trap.
Because the same mind that listens deeply, that notices every detail, that cares so much about getting it right, that same mind can turn on itself.
I'm not ready to speak yet. My English isn't good enough. What if I say something wrong? What if they laugh? What if they judge me? What if...
And while that mind is busy with what-ifs, the conversation moves on, the opportunity passes, the moment is gone.
And the shy learner stands there, knowing more than they said, understanding more than they showed, capable of more than anyone saw.
And that gap between what you know and what you show, that's where overthinking lives, and it's a painful place to live.
So let's talk about what overthinking actually does to speaking, because understanding it, really understanding it, is the first step to breaking its power.
When you overthink before speaking, you're essentially editing a sentence before it exists. You're correcting mistakes you haven't made yet, fixing problems that might never happen.
And all that pre-editing takes up mental space, space that should be used for actually speaking.
So by the time your mouth opens, your brain is already exhausted, already spent, already used up on imaginary problems.
And the sentence comes out slow, halting, uncertain, not because your English is bad, but because your brain had already run a marathon before the race even started.
Now, here's something very important for every shy learner listening right now.
Tell them.
Overthinking is not a personality flaw. It's a habit, and habits, unlike personality, can be changed.
Not overnight, not without effort, but changed. absolutely changed.
And the way you change it is not by trying to think less. That never works. Telling an overthinking brain to stop thinking? That's like telling rain to stop being wet.
It just rains harder.
Exactly. The way you change overthinking is by giving your brain something better to do, something more immediate, more present, more grounded.
Like focusing on the other person, not on yourself, not on your English, on them, their words, their expression, their meaning.
When your attention moves outward towards the conversation, it naturally moves away from the internal critic, away from the what-ifs, away from the editing and correcting that happens before you even speak.
And in that outward focus, something relaxes. The grip of overthinking loosens, and the words,
And in that outward focus, something relaxes, the grip of overthinking loosens, and the words that were always there, they start finding their way out more easily.
Now let's talk about practical tools, because shy learners need specific tools, tools that work with their nature, not against it.
First tool, whisper practice.
Whisper practice. Tell them.
Instead of speaking at full volume, practice English in a whisper, quietly, almost to yourself.
And this sounds simple, almost too simple, but for shy learners, it's transformative.
Because whispering removes the performance pressure. You're not projecting, not presenting, not performing. You're just speaking, quietly, safely.
And in that safety, the words come more easily, the sentences flow more naturally, the overthinking has less to grab onto.
And over time, as the words become more automatic in a whisper, they start becoming more automatic at full volume too.
Because fluency lives in the brain, not in the volume, and whisper practice builds the same neural pathways as speaking out loud.
Second tool, voice notes.
Voice notes, your phone, your most private English classroom.
Every day, record yourself speaking English for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, about anything. Your day, a thought you had, something you heard, something you're feeling.
And don't edit, don't delete, don't start over, just speak for 2 minutes, whatever comes.
And then listen back, not to judge yourself, but to hear yourself, to notice, I sound better than I thought, or that sentence was almost right, or I can hear myself improving from last week.
Because shy learners often have a distorted image of how they sound, they imagine their English sounds much worse than it actually does.
And hearing yourself, really hearing yourself, corrects that distortion, slowly, gently, but permanently.
Third tool, shadowing alone.
We talked about shadowing in a previous episode, but for shy learners, shadowing is especially powerful because it removes the pressure of creating language.
You're not inventing sentences, you're borrowing them, repeating them, feeling them in your mouth.
And borrowed sentences, practiced enough times alone, eventually become your own sentences, without you even noticing when the transfer happened.
Now, listeners, write in the comments which of these 3 tools, whisper practice, voice notes, or shadowing, feels most possible for you right now.
Not which one is best, which one feels most possible, because the best tool is always the one you'll actually use.
And for a shy English learner, possible matters more than perfect. Starting matters more than being ready.
Because you've been getting ready for long enough, and you're more ready than you think. You always were.
Now let's talk about something that every shy English learner needs to hear, something that gets said too rarely.
What's that? You don't need loud confidence to learn English. You never did.
That sentence, say it again.
You don't need loud confidence to learn English. You never did.
Because the image of the successful English learner, the one we see everywhere, is always the same. Loud, bold, jumping into conversations, making jokes, filling every silence.
And for shy learners, that image feels like a wall, like the finish line is on the other side, and they have to become a completely different person to reach it.
But that image is wrong, or at least it's incomplete.
Fluency doesn't have a personality type. Fluency doesn't belong to extroverts. Fluency belongs to anyone who puts in consistent, honest work, quietly or loudly.
And some of the most fluent English speakers in the world, you would never know it from watching them in a room, because they're the quiet ones, the ones listening in the corner, the ones who speak rarely but precisely.
And when they do speak, every word lands because they've been listening, thinking, preparing in their own quiet way.
Now, let's talk about thinking in English, because for shy learners, this is where the real magic happens.
Thinking in English while alone. Tell them why this is so powerful for introverts specifically.
Because shy learners already spend enormous amounts of time inside their own heads, already processing, already reflecting, already having rich internal conversations.
And most of those conversations happen in their native language. But what if, gradually, English started entering that internal space?
Not forcing it, not demanding perfection, just inviting English into the thoughts that are already there.
Walking to the kitchen and thinking, I'm hungry, what do I want to eat? Instead of thinking it in your native language, thinking it in English.
Sitting by the window and thinking, it's raining today. I feel quiet. I like days like this. In English.
And for a shy person, that internal English world, it becomes a private practice space that never closes, never judges, never laughs.
Available every moment, in every quiet space, in every alone moment that introverts naturally seek and value.
And over time, that private English thinking, it builds something that public practice alone never could. A deep, comfortable relationship with the language.
Not performed English, not social English, but personal English, your English.
The kind that comes out naturally when you finally do speak, because it's been living inside you for a long time already.
Now, let's talk about speaking itself, because we can't finish this episode without addressing the thing that scares shy learners most.
The moment of speaking in front of others.
Yes, that moment. And we're not going to pretend it's easy or that it doesn't matter, or that shy people should just push through and be brave.
That advice, just be brave, it's the least helpful advice anyone has ever given a shy person.
It really is. Because shy people know they need to be brave. That's not the missing information. The missing information is how.
So, let's talk about how, specifically, for shy learners, in a way that works with their nature, not against it.
First, start with one person. Not a group, not a class, not a presentation. One person. Someone safe. Someone you trust.
Because the pressure of a group, the feeling of multiple eyes, multiple judgments, multiple reactions, that's overwhelming for a shy learner.
But one person, one kind, patient person who you trust, that changes everything. The stakes feel lower, the safety feels higher, and the words come more easily.
And every conversation with that one safe person, it builds something, a small piece of evidence. Evidence that speaking English is survivable, even possible, even occasionally enjoyable.
And those small pieces of evidence, they accumulate slowly, quietly, until one day the evidence is strong enough to try with 2 people, then 3, then a small group.
Not overnight, not in a week, but gradually, at your own pace, on your own timeline.
Second, prepare more than others, and don't feel ashamed of that.
Extroverts improvise. They walk into conversations unprepared and figure it out as they go. And that works for them because their confidence carries them through the gaps.
But shy learners, when they prepare, when they know what they might say, what vocabulary they might need, what questions might come up, they perform completely differently.
Preparation is not cheating. It's not a crutch. It's a tool. And using your tools intelligently, that's not weakness. That's wisdom.
Third, redefine success. Because shy learners often measure speaking success by fluency, by sounding natural, by making no mistakes.
But that standard for anyone still learning is impossible, and impossible standards create paralysis.
So redefine success as I spoke, I tried, I opened my mouth and English came out, even imperfectly, even slowly, even with mistakes.
Because that act of opening your mouth and trying, that is success. Everything else is just detail.
Now, something beautiful before we finish. Something I want every shy learner to carry with them after this episode.
Go ahead.
The world of English learning celebrates the wrong things. It celebrates speed, volume, confidence, fearlessness.
But the things that actually build deep fluency, patience, observation, careful listening, private practice, deep thinking, those are shy people things.
The very qualities that make you feel like an outsider in English learning, those are the qualities that will take you the furthest.
Not the fastest, not the loudest, the furthest.
because language is not a race, it's a relationship. And shy people, more than anyone, know how to build deep relationships, carefully, authentically, for the long term.
Build that relationship with English in your quiet way, in your own time, in the private spaces where you feel most like yourself.
And trust that every silent moment of listening, every whispered practice sentence, every private English thought, it's building something real.
Something that no amount of loud, confident talking can build for you.
Write in the comments. Tell us, what is one thing you're going to try this week? Whisper practice, voice notes, thinking in English, starting with one safe person.
Just one thing. Name it in the comments right now, because naming it, making it real, that's already the first step.
And the first step, for a shy learner who has been standing at the door for a long time, that first step is everything.
If today helped you, subscribe to Talk Skeleton. Share this with the shy English learner in your life, the one who has been quietly trying for a long time without anyone noticing.
Notice them today. Send them this. Tell them this one is for you.
Until next time, keep going, keep listening, keep being exactly who you are.
Calm mind, clear English.
See you in the next episode. Keep going. You've got this.